father-in-law Kaido's monster cells create the strongest beasts. 241. The decision of the remnants of the white group is to only rely on Luo Xing instead of Kaido. Add weird cells are the invention of Luo Crossing. In this sea, only 100 beasts have it, and the 100 beasts group is the strongest four emperors group that can directly confront the world government. Not weaker than the Rocks Pirate and Roger Pirates. Even more than that, even Blackbeard, who possesses the ability to double fruit, even if it is the Black Tuan who has replaced Bei Tuan as the new four emperors. The current overall strength is far inferior to that of the 100 beasts. The remnants of the white group, wanting to snatch the monster cells from the beast group, is tantamount to fooling around. So, they want revenge on Blackbeard in order to gain the power of monster cells. There is only one way, that is to take refuge in the 100 beasts and join the 100 beasts. With their strength comparable to impel down 6th tier criminals, Kaido of the beasts and the 5th Emperor Luo Xing will definitely welcome their arrival. The weirdo cells will definitely not be stingy with a reward of 323 for them. But Bei Tuan and 100 beasts have always had festivals. Not to mention the friction between Papa and Kaido on the rocks. It is only said that Kozuki-eden, who was regarded as a younger brother by his father and a partner by Marko and others, died at the hands of Kaido. This is an obstacle that cannot be overcome no matter what. How could they take refuge in the enemy who killed Eden? The first one who fiercely opposed was Eden's retainer, the captain of the 16th team, Izang. Izang exclaimed excitedly, "No, absolutely not. How can you take refuge with that bastard Kaido? Lord Eden's revenge has not been avenged yet." 99. Not just Eden's feud. Aizo also knew that many of the samurai who hid inside Wano Kuni were also killed by the 100 beasts. Like Ashura Boy, who is also one of his retainers, especially Zuo's Cat Viper and Inilan. I heard that it was even the poisonous hand of the abominable 5 Emperor Luo Xing himself. Add Yizang, the 100 beasts, and Luo Xing undoubtedly have an undeniable feud. It is impossible for him to take refuge in the 100 beasts. Hearing Yizang's fierce opposition, the other captains also fell silent. Bista sighed and said, "Eden is also our former partner, Dad's most cherished brother, and we really can't take refuge in his enemy." 99. Marko and the rest of the captains all silently agreed. Seeing this, Joz clenched his fists and said angrily, "Weird cells are our only hope. Eden's revenge has to be avenged, so why don't Daddy, Ace, and Sachi have to avenge their revenge?" In Joz's view, Kozuki Eden is indeed a partner, and he has lived a happy and beautiful adventure life together. But comparing Eden to Papa is completely incomparable. Daddy's importance is far above Kozuki Eden. Not to mention, plus Ace and Sage. Dad, Ace, and Sachi, can't they compare to a Kozuki Eden? Joz's question left everyone speechless. Even Yizang, who was most vehemently opposed, only blushed and said nothing to refute. Joz continued, "Eden died fighting for his country, and in the years leading up to his death, he never asked us for help. His loss to Kaido was actually a fair fight between pirates, which is extremely common in this sea. 35. Kozuki Eden did not return to Wano Kuni, and was soon killed by Kaido. He actually lived several more years. However, facing Kaido, a powerful enemy, Eden did not choose to ask Whitebeard for help, nor did he ask Roger for help. This means Eden wants to fight Kaido on his own. To outsiders, this is a one-on-one fair fight between pirates. Then Eden died because of this. It is indeed normal. Add on the sea. There are pirates who die in such a duel every moment. Yizang couldn't help but said. But Lord Eden was killed by Kaido and Oki by despicable means, and it wasn't a fair duel. 35. Aizo, a retainer of Eden. I learned about the whole process of Kozuki Eden's death from Cat Viper and Inuarashi, including the years when Eden was tricked by the serpent and danced fruit dance. The white team leaders have long known about these things. Joz said, "It's true that Eden lost because of distraction," but Joz paused, and finally said what he had been holding back for more than 10 years. "I'll be honest, Eden's death was largely due to his own stupidity. Why would he be so naive to believe Kurozumi's lie? And why doesn't he ask us for help when faced with a desperate situation? Doesn't he consider us his companions?" Yizang was instantly furious and stared at Joz. You. How dare you say that, Lord Eden? How dare you say that Lord Eden is stupid? A normal person who can see Eden's stupidity." Now that Joz has spoken his heart, he stopped pretending and said directly, "Yizang, don't think what I said is ugly. It's obvious. If you don't believe me, ask Marko, Bista, and the other captains. Do they think Eden is too smart?" Yizo immediately looked at Marko, Bista and the others. Do you all think Lord Eden is stupid?" The expressions on the faces of the captains immediately became a little embarrassed. They secretly concealed the fact that they had discussed about Eden's death. A consensus was reached. Just as Joz said, Eden's tragic end is largely due to his own stupidity. As long as he is smart and sends a help message to the White Group or the Roger Group, Wano Kuni will not be what it is now. Although everyone did not speak, it was obviously a default. Yizang was furious, gritted his teeth, and wanted to say something cruel. But in the end he was powerless to give up. In fact, why doesn't he think that Lord Eden is really screwed up? After all, Yizang is a companion who has been with him for decades, and Jaws can't bear to hurt Yizang too much," he said comfortably. "Regardless of the reason, Eden died at the hands of Kaido after all, and this is a hurdle that cannot be overcome." To hide a little confused, "Isn't Joe's talking so much just now to convince him and everyone to join the beasts? Why do you suddenly say that Eden's death is hard to come by?" "I mean," Jaws explained, 5.4 We are not going to take refuge with Kaido of the beasts, but only the 5 Emperor Luo crossing. As far as I know, that's what Gecko Moria did." Moria's former partners were all killed by Kaido, and they had a life and death feud with Kaido. Moria's surrender was only to Luo Xing, not to Kaido. Moria won't even go to Wano Kuni. The captains suddenly realized that's what Jaws meant. If they just rely on the 5 emperors Luo Xing, then everyone will accept it more easily. Marko even met Luo Xing at Dressrosa. "Know that man, not as bad as Kaido. On the contrary, it also gives a gentle and refined feel." Marko had no objection, neither did Vista. The rest of Isshin's captains, who just wanted to avenge Whitebeard, even loudly agreed. That's how things settled. 242. The Prophecy of Tianyueshi, the end of Momanosuke. Luo Xing's phone. Yizang was as stiff as a lightning strike. Although Jaws said that he did not go to Kaido of the Beasts, he only went to the 5 Emperors Luo crossing. It is equivalent to taking out Eden's hatred. The other captains of the White Regiment can do the same. But you can't hide it alone. Because he is Chixiao Juxia, he is a retainer of the Kozuki family, and he is from Wano Kuni. The wife of the 5th Emperor Luo Xing is the general of Wano Kuni today. That should have been the power of the Kozuki clan. Yizang, who upholds the samurai belief, does not want to be the one who backs his master. That is the greatest shame for a samurai. Since you've all made up your mind, good luck to you." Yizang said silently. "Turn around, go outside the island." Marko yells, "Yizang, where are you going?" Everyone understands that it is impossible for Yizang to make the same choice as them, so they didn't reluctantly hide. Just concerned about the future of Yizang. To hide his head and never look back, "I have to wait for Mrs. Shi's prophecy, that day will come soon." Say it. With a hidden figure, he slowly disappeared into the sea in the distance. "Mrs. Shi's prophecy? Is it Eden's wife, Tianyueshi, who stayed on our ship back then?" Bista asked 18 suspiciously. "Good." Marko sighed and said, "Tianyueshi is the fruit of the time. She actually traveled from 800 years ago. She seems to be looking for something. Tianyushi's identity is extremely mysterious. The ability of the fruit of time is beyond people's imagination." When Eden was killed, Mrs. Shi made a prophecy before she died, saying that after 20 years, when the sky falls and 9 shadows fall, someone will come to save Wano Kuni and change the world. 99. At the same time, she also sent Eden's son Momanosuke, as well as several Akasaka 9 heroes. 20 years later. Calculate the time, there is only 1 year left, and the 20-year deadline will be fulfilled. The captains of the White Regiment were shocked. Is this such a prophecy? Then they are now taking refuge in Yuang Luo Xing. If the prophecy comes true, the 100 beasts are defeated and lose the base camp of Wano Kuni. Wouldn't their resignation become a joke? But Marko's next words quickly dispelled their doubts. Marko smiled bitterly, but Mrs. Tianyueshi probably would never have thought that Kaido actually found a freak son-in-law like Yuang Luo Xing, so that the strength of beasts pirates today is not comparable to that of the past. Not to mention Momanosuke and the 9 Knights of Akasaka. Even if Eden is resurrected, even if Dad leads us to help Eden together, they are not necessarily the current opponents of the 100 beasts. Anyway, I can't figure out how to beat the current beasts pirates with just Momanosuke. 35. Jaws and Vista listened. Unanimously, he showed an expression of deep approval. Under the blessing of various heaven-defying props invented by the 5 emperors Luo Xing, the strength of the 100 beasts today is terrifying. The number of 4 emperors admiral-level powerhouses alone is hard to count. To make a rough estimate, Yuang Luo Xing himself, Kaido, Yan Jiagen, Plague Queen and Jack the Drow also seem to have the strength to match the top powerhouses. Among the original members of the Light 100 Beasts, there are already 5 top-level combat powers, not even counting Luo Xing's wife Yamato. Also, among the many subordinates Luo Xing subdued, Zora, Enlil, Shira of the Rain, Jinbei the Seaman and Oz the strongest zombie demon who ate the dragon-level monster cells. They all have strength comparable to the top powerhouses. Calculated like this, the top-level combat power of the 100 beasts actually exceeds the number of 10 fingers, which is simply appalling. On this sea, apart from the world government, who can compete with the beasts? The red-hair pirates of the veteran 4 emperors, the Blackbeard pirates who are proud of themselves. Compared with the beast group, it is not on the same level at all. When the white team was the most powerful, there were only 2 top-level combat powers, Whitebeard and Kozuki Eden. Marko, Jaws, and Bista can only temporarily hold back the top powerhouses. Is the Pirate King Roger pirate ship? The number of top-level combat powers cannot be compared with the current 100 beasts. In the heyday of the Roger pirates, there were 4 top combat powers, Roger, Rayleigh, Jabber, and Bullet. Certainly. Perhaps there are unknown powerhouses. In short, among the pirate groups in history, only the Rocks pirate, which was as strong as a cloud in the past, may be comparable to the current beast group. Marko, Jaws, Bista and others. It is impossible to think of it anyway. How can Mrs. Shi's prophecy come true? Marko sighed again and said, wait a year later, Momanosuke and the others cross over, and I don't know what will happen to them. Azudan's son, Momanosuke, and the 9 heroes of Akasaka, will definitely face off against the 100 beasts and the 5 emperors Luo crossing. Their future fate is unpredictable. But Marko and the remnants of the White League just wanted to avenge Whitebeard, and they couldn't think about it that much. After hiding away, Marko, Joz, Bista and others did not stop. They left some people to look after Papa's tomb, so as not to be disturbed by those with bad intentions. Then, they went out to see to the site of the 100 beasts. Today, the 100 Beasts group is the largest among the 4 emperors in the New World's territory. More than half of the New World islands are under the control of the 100 Beasts. Therefore, Marko and the others soon entered the sphere of influence of the 100 Beasts. It was discovered by a little boy of 100 Beasts. Marko showed his interest. The little guy was flabbergasted. He looked suspiciously at Marko and the others. If it wasn't for Marko and others who were already famous in New World, this little guy knew what they looked like. The little one suspected that someone was playing tricks on him. You wait. I'll go and report 323 Lord Billy first. Billy, the user of the first monster cell produced by Luo Crossing. Originally it was only given to the bottom layer below the Empowered Legion. Because of eating monster cells, the strength has become a real fight. Today's status in the Giver Legion is also considered to be a middle level, commanding many subordinates. It is the small leader of the range of this 100 beasts. Billy learned that it was the captains of the White Corps who came to seek refuge. Understand that it matters. Dare not to neglect. Hurried over. He identified the identities of Marko and others. Then I carefully took out a black phone bug. The expression on his face was almost reverent. Marko, Joz, and Vista couldn't help looking at each other. They could sense that this little leader named Billy was quite powerful. Although not comparable to them, it is enough to reach hundreds of millions of bounties. It is really surprising that a person showed such a devout, godlike expression. It was Luo Xing that Billy called. It stands to reason. A person of Billy's identity is not qualified to own a Luo Xing phone. In the entire 100 Beast group, only a few people, such as Senzai and Fu Bao, were qualified to call Luo Crossing. Because Billy was the first to eat weird cells after all, Luo Xing gave him the right to make a phone call. The call was quickly connected. A man's lazy voice came. Oh? It's Billy, what's the matter? Tell me. 243. Marko sighs that the gap between Luo Xing and Luo Xing is different now. Where is Luo Xing at the moment? The answer is Xiao Zi's room. After completely conquering North Blue and reaching a partnership with Aokiji, Luo Xing returned to Wonokuni. As for Momanosuke, Yin, and Tashigai, Luo Xing did not restrict their actions. They can travel around North Blue at will. Among the 3 girls, Momanosuke and Yin have returned to Luo Xing, and they, who have become Luo Xing women, each have their own ideas, and it is impossible for them to return to Marine. The only dead-headed Tashigai, after being taught by Momanosuke about the darkness of this world, there was also a great shock. Who says Marine and world government represent justice? The evil hidden under the skin of justice is worse than the evil of pirates. Tashigai's old worldview was impacted. She intends to use the opportunity to travel to North Blue to gain a deeper understanding of the general public's perception of Marine and the government. Just take a look again. Under the rule of the beasts, North Blue is really better than before. Not much gossip. It is only said that after Luo Xing returned to Wonokuni, he quietly came to Xiao Zi's room without telling his wife Yamato. Since Xiao Zi ate the slippery fruit, the smoothness of the skin is unmatched by all women in Luo Crossing. Xiao Zi's whole body skin, like jelly, is slippery and not slippery, so Luo Xing can't put it down. I also like to eat. Also, the smoothness of ultimate makes the force that hits Xiao Zi's skin slip away. Although the sound was loud, Xiao Zi didn't feel any pain. Just like right now. Luo Xing patted Xiao Zi's incense back a few times. The sound is loud. For ordinary people, the skin on the back has long been beaten red. But Xiao Zi's fragrant back is still white and delicate, as smooth as ever. No pain at all. But although there is no pain, this feeling of being beaten, but it made Xiao Zi's beautiful eyes suddenly flooded with countless mists, and she was charming. He opened his big watery eyes. Seems to be full of grievances. It seemed to be full of joy. She knew the purpose of men slapping her, although she was ashamed, but the body is honest. Subconsciously, the waist as thin as a willow moved gently. Smooth skin with zero friction can become a perpetual motion machine with just a little force. Luo Xing sighed contentedly. To steal Alvida's slippery fruit and give it to Xiao Zi. I feel really foresighted. At this time, the phone bug rang. Now that the 100 Beasts group is bigger, Luo Xing has more subordinates. The situation of competing with the world government for sea hegemony is also becoming more and more tense. Therefore, even if Luo Xing doesn't like being disturbed when he is with women, he has to carry a phone bug with him, in case something urgent happens. Luo Xing frowned and looked at the phone bug on the side. Xiao Zi in her arms wanted to stop. Luo Xing didn't give in. Xiao Zi pursed her red lips and said, Aren't you afraid that your wife called to catch the thief? Luo Xing looked upright, raised his head and said, what's so scary about this? It's not normal for a man to have 3 wives and 4 concubines. 99. Xiao Zi rolled her eyes. In fact, if it was really his wife Yamato calling, Luo Xing felt a little vacuous in his heart. Because he hasn't made up his mind yet what to do with Yamato after he found out he had other women. It can be expected that Yamato will be very jealous and show off his power. Things didn't end well. Although Luo Xing loves his wife Yamato the most, he doesn't want his other women to be wronged. All the women can live in harmony and have a great quilt. That's the best. Luo Xing could see that the phone call was not from his wife Yamato, but from Billy, the first little character who ate his weird cell. Luo Xing is very calm, while wrapping her hands around Xiao Zi's slender waist, while answering the phone bug, in a lazy tone. Billy, what's the matter? Tell me. Billy's very respectful voice came. Young master, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to disturb your old man's house, but there is something extremely important that I want to report to you. Luo Xing caressed the cold and smooth skin around Xiao Zi's waist with his palm. Wait for Billy's next words. Billy rode the dozen or so captains of the original Whitebeard pirates, including the captain of the first team Marko the Phoenix, the captain of the third team Diamond Joes, and the captain of the fifth team Foil Bista, suddenly came to the island under the control of the villain, said that he wanted to take refuge with the young master. 99. What did you say? Just as calm as Luo Xing, suddenly hearing such unexpected news, he also sat up straight in surprise. He forgot that Xiao Zi was still sitting in his arms. The sudden action made Xiao Zi's face pale. Suddenly he couldn't bear the scream. Xiao Zi hurriedly covered her mouth with her hands, blushing and staring at Luo Xing in shame. Luo Xing didn't care so much. He used his arms to force Xiao Zi into his arms directly and domineeringly. He quickly calmed down. Although the beauty is in her arms, her tone has become unhurried. Luo Xing said to the phone bug, 66 inches. Billy, let Marko and the others answer the phone. Yes, young master. 3 representatives of the remnants of the White League, Marko, Joz, and Bista, stepped forward. It's been a long time since Dressrosa left, Mr. Marko. Despite the phone bug, Luo Xing said with a smile on his face. Marko was also very emotional. When I think about Dressrosa's fairy bin auction. Although Luo Xing, the concubine of the beasts, showed Conqueror's entanglement, such a move that the Emperor's deputy would be horrified. But in general, at that time, Luo Xing's status was the same as that of Marko, category and other second-in-command of the Imperial Group, which was equivalent to being on an equal footing. However, just over a year later, this man has already become the top 5 emperors, even more famous than the 4 emperors. There is no doubt that he is the highest figure in this world. Even if the world government that has ruled this sea for 800 years, okay. I also had a headache for this man and couldn't do anything about it. Even the territory under his command will be continuously eroded. And at that time, Marko, who was on an equal footing with Luo Xing, now has to lower his stance and express his surrender to the other party. Such a huge difference. It really is different today. How could Marko not be overwhelmed with emotion? However, Marko is not an ordinary person after all, and he quickly corrected his mentality. As long as he can avenge Daddy, Ace, and Sachi, no matter what the price is, it will be worth it. Marko's voice had a hint of respect, but also very neither humble nor arrogant. It's been a long time indeed. Then, Lord 5 Emperor Luo Xing, could you please condescend once and meet us bereaved dogs? No problem Gong. Luo Xing agreed decisively. But I have something to do now. You have to wait a while. Marko, doubting him, said, then we are waiting for the great ride of the 5 emperors. 39. 244. Xiao Zi, who loves and hates, Luo Xing said that Momanosuke must die. What can Luo Xing do? Of course, to deal with Xiao Zi. Xiao Zi blushed and said angrily, Marko the Phoenix, the former captain of the Whitebeard pirates, I've seen them all when I was a kid. They have all come to rely on you. Why don't you go to see them quickly? Why are you still here? Luo Xing put down the phone bug and put his hands around Xiao Zi's slender waist. The corners of her mouth were close to the edge of the beauty's crystal-clear earlobes. No matter how important it is not as important as you. Sudden force. Yeah, you. Hours later, Luo Xing got up in a hurry. There are many tricks that can be played by eating Xiao Zi, which is a slippery fruit. Luo Xing finds a different angle every time, and Xiao Zi's ability to bear is also very strong, smooth skin, so that she will not be hurt in the slightest. But at this moment, Xiao Zi was still completely out of strength, and she didn't even bother to lift a little finger. Luo Xing comforted softly. You have a good rest here. I'll go first. Take out any door. About to leave. Xiao Zi suddenly tried her best to prop up her upper body. Mu looked at Luo Xing with infinite complexity, bit her lip and said, for whatever reason, Marko and the others were supposed to be my father's companions. but now they are relying on you. Kozuki-eden was on the Whitebeard ship for several years. When I met Tanayu, 323 gave birth to Xiao Zi and the Momanosuke. The relationship between Kozuki-eden and Marko and others is extremely deep. But now, Marko and other white team leaders, but regardless of a hatred of her father Eden and 100 beasts, are going to take refuge with the man in front of him. It shows that they must have encountered some major changes, and there are unavoidable reasons. I was taken care of by them a lot when I was a child, and I hope you can help them. Xiao Zi actually said such a thing. Luo Xing was a little surprised. After a while, smiled and said, of course, they can come. I can't ask for it. How can I refuse it? It is not so exaggerated to ask for it. After all, the current strength of the 100 beasts, whether or not Marko and others have joined, will not have much impact. Certainly, it would be best if Marko and others could join in. There's one more thing. Xiao Zi's purpose of stopping Luo Xing, of course, is not only to let Luo Xing help Marko and others. But she didn't know what to say next. She is struggling, very confused. Arguably, as Eden's daughter, the man in front of her is undoubtedly her biggest enemy. But, after being bullied so many times by men, Xiao Zi's heart unconsciously produced many feelings. Xiao Zi couldn't control these feelings at all. She was in pain and was constantly struggling. This is her enemy. How can she really fall in love with each other? Xiao Zi opened the red lips. The pretty face suddenly turned pale, and he swallowed the words again. No, I can't say. This is my mother's last words and my father's only hope. I can't be sorry for them. I can't be sorry for them. Xiao Zi kept shaking her head, convincing herself. Tears flowed down suddenly. Luo Xing guessed what Xiao Zi wanted to say from Xiao Zi's struggles and words. Xiao Zi guessed that she wanted to tell him the prophecy of her mother, Tianyueshi, before she died. 20 years later, when the sky falls and Jiuying, someone will rescue Wano-kuni and defeat the 100 beasts. Counting the time, there is still 1 year at most, and it will be 20 years. Xiao Zi wants to remind Luo Xing because of her affection for Luo Crossing. After all, Luo Xing and the 100 beasts are tied together. If the 100 beasts lose as predicted, Luo Xing's end will definitely be very miserable. Xiao Zi couldn't bear to see that scene. However, Xiao Zi also could not live up to the expectations of her mother and father. So, she struggled and burst into tears. Luo Xing sighed in his heart, but there was no expression on his face, and said lightly, you don't need to tell me. In fact, I already knew that prophecy. 5. What? You? Xiao Zi was stunned and stared blankly at Luo Crossing. Luo Xing said calmly, you should have known it long ago. Denjiro, Shutenmaru, Inuarashi and Cat Viper. These former retainers of your father, all died in my hands. 99. How can I not know anything about what is predicted 20 years from now? Xiao Zijia's body shook violently. My showed fear. This time, she no longer worries about Luo Xing's safety, but about Momanosuke and others. By this man's horrific means. Now that you know that prophecy, it is estimated that you have already prepared. Can the prophecy really come true? What will happen to Momanosuke and the others? You are my woman, but some people must die. 35. Luo Xing left this sentence, went through any door, and disappeared. Xiao Zi sat blankly on the spot. Some people must die. Who? Momonosuke. That's her real brother. Xiao Zi's heart suddenly burst into despair. The feeling of love and hate for Luo Xing reached its peak in an instant. Luo Xing likes Xiao Zi very much, and he also wants Xiao Zi to live happily. But the world is not so satisfying. No matter how much Luo Xing likes Xiao Zi, Momonosuke, Kinemon and other ordinary retainers must die. There is no doubt about that. Luo Xing has long been in the waters around Dressrosa, full of manpower. Once Momonosuke and others were found, they would immediately report it to him. Luo Xing would not let Momonosuke and others have a little room for resistance. Not to let them sit up. Isn't it okay for Kinemon to pick up old father-in-law Kaido's mace wrapped around conquerors? The plane of Luo Xing, cut him into 8 pieces, burn him to ashes, and throw them into the sea to see if he can be resurrected again. Luo Xing has never been soft-hearted when dealing with enemies. This is something. It is only said that Luo Xing crossed the distance of tens of thousands of miles and came to the island under Billy's jurisdiction. The white team leaders, such as Marko, Joz, and Bista, have been waiting for a long time. Sorry, I'm late. After Luo Xing appeared, he smiled lightly. What can Marko et al. say about it? They came to seek refuge in each other this time, and they asked for help, and it was inevitable to sit on the bench. Luo Xing's purpose is also here. The white team leaders are all arrogant guys. Let them dry them out and grind their temperament. Really? The expressions of the white team leaders at the moment were not as rebellious as they were in the past, and they were much more submissive. It is the 3 strongest captains of Marko, Joz, and Vista, although still neither humble nor arrogant, but the words also contain respect. Marko rode. It's nothing, we didn't wait long here. Then, he bluntly stated his intention. Lord Yuang Luo Xing, we have come to seek refuge this time with conditions. We want to ask you for some freak cells, and with those freak cells, we'll go get revenge on that bastard at each. When the revenge is over, The lives of us people will be yours in the future. 245. Marko, Jaws, and Bista eat dragon-level monster cells. Marko wasn't beating around the bush or playing tricks. He directly understood the plans of the white team leaders. Their refuge, in the early stage, must kill Blackbeard, after the revenge for Dad, Ace, and Sachi. Luo Xing had expected this. He looked at Diamond Joe's foil Bista, and the bandages wrapped around the rest of the captains. He raised his eyebrows and said, "Did you get hurt by Blackbeard?" The remnants of the white group heard the words, and their faces suddenly showed resentment. Jaws, who had the most violent temper, let out a low roar. "That shameless guy from Teach attacked us and stole the power of Daddy Shock Fruit." Suddenly hearing the news, Luo Xing was surprised. Blackbeard finally gets the power of the Shock Fruit, has it? One hand is dark and the other is shaking, exactly the same as in the original book. But the surprise is only a short moment. Luo Xing quickly calmed down. No matter what kind of power you gain, based on the current strength of the Black Core and the 100 Beast Core, the Beast Group is enough to crush the Black Group. And no matter how strong Blackbeard is, as long as Luo Xing invented the God-level monster cell and let the old father-in-law Kaido eat it, whether it's Blackbeard or the mysterious Lord Yam, they'll only end up being crushed to dust. Speaking of him, Virgo has successfully entered the Holy Land Marie Joyce and started a secret inquiry. Once progress is made, Luo Xing will be notified immediately. This is a later story. One of Joz's arms, removed by Okaji during Summit War, in the battle with Blackbeard again. He was seriously injured, but he still stood firm, and the murderous aura on his body was extremely strong. "I must kill Teach. Lord Yuang Luo Xing, please give us monster cells." Joz actually got down on one knee and pleaded with Luo Xing to know. The captains of the white regiments like Xiao Zi, who were ranked in the top ranks, dared to challenge even against the four emperor's admiral-level powerhouses. During his many years of pirate career, even when facing the Roger pirates, I was never afraid, kneeling to Daddy Whitebeard alone. And now, he actually knelt down to Luo Xing. The rest of the captains, including Marko and Vista, were extremely shocked. Marko couldn't help but make a sound, trying to get Joz to stand up. Even if they have requests from others, as long as they are more respectful, don't be so servile. Joz was already mentally prepared. After all, it was he who proposed to join the 100 Beasts in exchange for monster cells. To this end, he even forced his longtime companion Izang away. If you don't get the freak cells in the end, that result was beyond Joz's tolerance. He must succeed. For the strange cells, to avenge the father, when Joz came, he was ready to throw away all his dignity. "Stop talking," Joz said decisively. "As long as I can avenge my father, it doesn't matter what I do." 5. The aura of seeing death as if at home was truly shocking. However, Luo Xing's expression remained unchanged. He did not immediately agree to Joz's request, but instead asked another sentence. "Blackbeard attacked you in Whitebeard's hometown, right? After the Summit War, with the help of the Redhead, you buried Whitebeard in his homeland." 5. I heard that it is a very beautiful place, and it used to be an impossible place. Can you tell me where is that island? Now Whitebeard's site, it has already fallen into the hands of the 100 Beasts and Big Mums. But Luo Xing discovered that Whitebeard's hometown was not in the vast territory. If not, Luo Xing had already taken precautions in advance that Blackbeard might steal Whitebeard's body. Marko's face changed. Luo Xing actually asked about his father's hometown, the meaning behind it. With Marko's mind, how could he not understand? The other party clearly wanted to include his father's hometown into the site of the 100 Beasts. As such, these white remnants, even if they fail to avenge Blackbeard, for Papa's hometown, Papa and Ace's grave, he also has to honestly serve for the 100 Beasts. Marko hesitated. "I don't know if I should agree to this condition." Luo Xing stood with his hands behind his back, waiting for Marko and others to choose. Is there a free lunch in this world? Although Luo Xing is very happy about the faction of Marko and others, I also believe that with the virtues of these people, they disdain to lie and will definitely keep their promises. But they are Whitebeard's remnants after all, and they are inextricably linked with Kazukiden, Red Hair, Straw Hat Luffy, etc. These forces that are hostile to the beasts. Ask for flowers. Luo Xing must have an extra layer of insurance. Guarantee that Marko and others can never betray. Whitebeard's hometown and tomb are the best shackles to bind Marko and others. Marko struggled for a while, glancing at foil Bista. The two sighed at the same time, and they had already made a decision. Now they are asking others, and the initiative is not in their hands. Either compromise, or leave. Let the bastard Teach be arrogant, and they can't do anything. Having figured it out, Marko took out a recording pointer from his arms and said, "That's the pointer to my dad's hometown." Luo Xing took it. Input the position information recorded in the record pointer to any gate. Immediately opened the door. On the other side of the door, it is a country that has been destroyed for the most part. It can be seen that there are also members of the original white group, who are undergoing reconstruction work. The place with the best view and the highest terrain is Whitebeard's tomb. Luo Xing nodded in satisfaction. It seems that Marko and others are sincere surrender, and there will be no more repetitions. An enthusiastic smile appeared on Luo Xing's face immediately, and while holding up Diamond Joe's, he said with a smile, "From now on, we will all be our own people, and we don't have to kneel at every turn. Joz, eat this fairy bean and restore your arm first." Luo Xing gave Joz a fairy bean. This generous move moved Joz, while Marko sighed, and the rest of the captains such as Bista were relieved. They finally gained the trust of the man in front of them. To be frank, the atmosphere was a little tense. As soon as this man appeared, there was a strong pressure on his body, making it difficult to breathe. Bista even had a feeling, as if he had seen his father in his prime. Joz eats the fairy bean. The arm that was removed by Okiji immediately grew out of thin air, like a miracle. Luo Xing then took out a dozen monster cells. There are big and small. The small ones are ghost-level monster cells. With the strength of the white team leaders, it is enough to withstand the side effects of ghost-level monster cells. The big ones are dragon-level monster cells, which are beyond the reach of ordinary people. After learning about the differences and effects of these weird cells, the three most powerful captains, Marko, Joz, and Bista, without hesitation, I chose to eat dragon-level monster cells. Gwing 246. The captains of the White Regiment had the monster cells. The power of rapid increase. Add Marko, Joz, Bista and others paid so much. Even regardless of the old friendship with Kazukiden, it also led to the departure of many years of companions. Isn't that what you're asking for? The monster cells in front of you? Weird cells can make their strength skyrocket instantly. They're going to get stronger, defeat Blackbeard Teach, and avenge Daddy, Ace, and Thatch. Thus, no matter what kind of huge side effects the monster cells have, they don't care, and they eat the monster cells without hesitation. And weirdo cells have grades. At present, Luo Xing has produced Dragon, Ghost and Tiger. Tiger level strength is low. With the strength of the white team leader, it would be too wasteful to eat Tiger level. So what Luo Xing gave them, they started out as Ghost level geek cells. But, hearing that the effect of Dragon level monster cells is far superior to Ghost level monster cells, 323 ranked after Foil Bista, that is, the captains after the 5th division, also wanted to eat dragon-level monster cells. The Phoenix Marko stopped them. "No, you can't have any more accidents, let's eat ghosts." The side effects of dragon-level monster cells are terrible, and Marko has also heard of it. He couldn't let his comrades have any accidents because of this. But the captains at the back said unwillingly, "Marko, as long as you can get stronger and avenge your father, so what if you die?" 35. They are willing to drop everything and come to Luo Xing. "I've already made plans to die." Marko didn't agree. Finally, or Diamond Joz said, "Don't worry, let me eat it first, and you can watch the situation by the side. If you can bear the side effects, then eating the dragon level is naturally the best." Joz wants to experiment first for everyone. No one has any more opinions. Under the nervous gaze of Marko and other captains, Joz took a deep breath and swallowed the huge dragon-level monster cell in one bite. Next second, Joz suddenly let out a painful growl. The hair all over his body stood upright at once, like steel needles. His skin became as red as blood. Neck veins exposed. The blood vessels are very obvious. Such enormous pain made Joz subconsciously display the ability of the diamond fruit. The whole body was instantly covered with a layer of extremely hard diamonds. But even the hardness of diamonds, it is also difficult to resist the terrible side effects of dragon-level monster cells. Joz was soon covered in blood and screamed. It looked extremely hideous and terrifying. See this scene. The captains of the White Regiment were all horrified. In terms of physical defense, Joz is the most powerful among them. After all, the hardness of diamond, even the slash of the world's strongest swordsman Hawkeye, is not so easy to break. However, it is Joz with such a strong defense and such a strong physique. It seemed so painful right now. The side effects of this dragon-level monster cell are too terrifying. There is no such thing as a free lunch, and you have to pay the same price to gain power. Luo Xing's voice said lightly at this moment. The captains such as Marko and Bista were surprised again. Invisible, the sense of awe for Luo Xing deepened a bit. After all, no matter how terrifying this dragon-level monster cell is, it was the man in front of him who created it. Joz's pain lasted for a full quarter of an hour. It's finally over. Xiao Zi already has the strength to challenge the 4 Emperors Admiral level, and is close to the top combat power of this sea. Thank Kai. He ate another fairy bean given by Luo Xing, and the arm removed by Okiji and the injuries suffered by Blackbeard also recovered instantly. This allowed him to finally resist the side effects of dragon-level monster cells. Joz's figure has become twice as tall as before. The aura on his body was as heavy as a mountain. The captains of the White Regiment felt a little bit, and they all showed a look of astonishment. Joz's breath at this time is terrible. It's not comparable to the past at all. Even Marko and Bista were shocked. They are sure now if they were to fight Joz, even if the two of them go together, they will never be Joz's opponent. The degree of increase of dragon-level monster cells can be called heaven-defying. Marko couldn't help sighing deeply in his heart. No wonder the current strength of the 100 beasts has become so terrifying. With such heaven-defying eccentric cells, it's impossible not to be scary. With the constant blessing of monster cells, the beast group will only become stronger and stronger until the whole world is changed. The future is undoubtedly the era of beasts. The father is always resurrected, and I am afraid that he will not be able to compete with the beasts. Marko had to admit it. Joes, whose strength has been greatly improved, closed his eyes. He realized the power that suddenly increased in his body. Luo Xing said, "It will take a while for Joes to get used to the power he has now." You just saw the strength of dragon-level monster cells. Except for Marko and Bista, everyone else should eat ghost-level monster cells. Luo Xing's tone was casual, but it was a tone close to the command. The white team leaders naturally accepted this order. Even Marko and Bista also complied with Luo Xing's arrangement. This undoubtedly completely confirmed the master-slave relationship between Luo Xing and team leader Bege. The captains after the 5th division of the Baichunet all ghost-level monster cells. Marko and Bista ate dragons. After half an hour, everyone has been promoted. Feel the power surging inside your body. The white team leaders were ecstatic. They cried out, "Strong, too strong." This steady stream of power comes up. Ha ha ha, now I can definitely kill that bastard Teach and avenge my father. Yes, after killing Teach, I don't want to wait for a moment. The skyrocketing strength brought them unprecedented confidence. These grey-headed 5.4 remnants of the white group who were beaten by Blackbeard not long ago. He actually wanted to go to Blackbeard to settle the account immediately. Calm down, don't get lost in the power. A thunderous shout suddenly sounded. It was Marko, the leader of the captains. Marko's breath is now abyss like the sea. His phoenix characteristics, even the side effects of dragon-level monster cells, did not cause him much pain. But the increase in his strength was the biggest among the crowd. Still on top of Joes and Bista, Marko has obviously reached the level of a top powerhouse and can compete with the 4 Emperor's admiral. But Marko remained calm, not being carried away by the sudden increase in power. He opened his mouth and said, "Our strength is growing too fast and it will take a while to stabilize. Also, we don't know where Teach's home is yet." 247. Go to the Fishman Island and discuss cross-species breeding with Shirahoshi. Blackbeard occupied Baldigo, the former headquarters of the Revolutionary Army, as a nest of development forces. As a world government, Baldigo, who has been searching for decades, has not been able to find its specific location. The location is extremely secret. Baldigo's exact location has not been leaked, at least so far. Certainly, it's too soon to leak out. Because the Blackbeard pirates have been recruiting for this period of time, troops surged to tens of thousands. So many people are pirates. How can they be as strict as the well-organized Revolutionary Army? There will always be people who say leaks, and even bragging about actively leaking out are very likely things. Regardless of these, it's just that the reason why the Black Regiment's troops can surge so fast, the biggest reason is that those large pirate groups that were forced by the 100 Beasts and Big Moms to be unable to gain a foothold in the New World, going to join the Blackbeard pirates. The captains of these large pirate groups have bounties in the hundreds of millions. They still have ambitions and are unwilling to succumb to the beasts. As a result, the Black Regiment now has not only a sudden increase in strength, but also a great increase in the number of strong men. In addition to Blackbeard's original 4 crew members, namely Badgers, Lafayette, Vanuka, Poison Q, Blackbeard also selected 4 or 5 powerful captains who had joined him from the New World, as the core of the Black Group into 18 members. The current Blackbeard pirates, in addition to the lack of a deputy who can replace Shirahoshi in the original work, it's already a standard for Emperor's Regiment configuration. Although there is no Emperor's deputy, Blackbeard has the double fruit ability of secret and shock, and Blackbeard can continue to capture other demon fruit powers for his subordinates. The Black Group will become stronger and stronger. Marko is precisely because of this. He didn't get carried away by the skyrocketing strength, and he still remained calm. We mustn't underestimate that guy Teach just because we ate weird cells. Marko warned in a low voice. The captains of the White Regiment, including Joes, who was the most violent, suddenly woke up a lot. They thought about it. Discovery is indeed, as Marko said, dormant for a while. It is the best choice to inquire about the information on Blackbeard's side, and then conduct a raid. Foil Bista's muscles were even bigger than before. Like the artist's most perfect sculpture, the muscles are like barriers. As a top-level man, he can compete with Hawkeye without falling behind. Now under the blessing of dragon-level monster cells, the world's top swordsman whose aura seems to be a bit more aggressive than Hawkeye's, Bista, like Marko, has always remained calm. He said slowly and calmly, "Teach is an asshole. But there's something about him. He's been holding back on Moby Dick for decades, and even Dad and we can't be far behind his ambitions. We should now learn from his forbearance, endure for a while and hone our own strength. Wait until the time is right, then riot again and kill the bastard teacher with one hit." Bista's narrative feels familiar. Isn't this what Blackbeard used to kill Sachi after he had held back for decades? Bista is clearly trying to use his own way to treat his own body. Don't say. His idea is very reasonable and feasible, because Blackbeard has just been in Whitebeard's hometown, and they have been beaten to death by their group of white remnants, and they almost wiped out the entire army. When Blackbeard left, he was smug and arrogant. How could Blackbeard still have them in their sights? In Blackbeard's view, the remnants of the white group, who have experienced several major defeats in succession, are completely out of tune and will no longer be a threat to him. Before his death, Whitebeard said to Blackbeard, Blackbeard's greatest weaknesse is conceit and rashness. That's right. Blackbeard, who finally won the shock fruit ability, is completely arrogant and arrogant. He couldn't have imagined. The remnants of the Baituan did not collapse, but instead chose to join the original Baituan's hostile force, the 100 Beasts. Taking refuge in Luo Xing, the biggest enemy who made Blackbeard shrivel several times and almost died in the sea. Blackbeard wouldn't even know. The remnants of the white group have already eaten the monster cells, and their strength is not what it used to be, not the level of his confrontation that day. Especially, Marko, Jaws, and Bista were even more dragon-level monster cells. Definitely a huge surprise for Blackbeard. Clap up a tilde. Several rounds of applause rang out. It was Luo Xing's palm. Luo Xing smiled slightly. Bista, your idea is very good, and this is the way to deal with people like Blackbeard. Luo Xing's words are equivalent to setting the tone for the next actions of the white team leaders. Going to Blackbeard for revenge now is not a wise plan. The white team leaders need to hide for a while, and when Blackbeard completely relaxes his vigilance, they pop up again and give Blackbeard a thunderous blow. Is the most violent and most intolerable hatred of Blackbeard Jaws. He also took a breath, suppressed the impatience in his heart, and said, since Marko, Bista, and Lord Luo Xing all said so, let that bastard teach live a little longer. 99. But, where should we go to practice next? The remnants of the Whitebeard only took refuge in Luo Xing, not the beasts, nor Kaidos, who had a grudge against Whitebeard. Therefore, they will not stay within the sphere of influence of the 100 Beasts. In particular, most of the sites of the 100 Beast group in the New World today belong to the Baituan. It's not even suitable for them. Of course Luo Xing will not be hard on others. He had already thought about it and said, you'll go to the Fishmen Island. 99. The Fishmen Island? The eyes of the white team leaders suddenly lit up. The Fishmen Island is a very suitable place to go. 323. Not to mention that the Fishmen Island has a close relationship with them and was originally one of Whitebeard's protectorates. It is only said that the geographical location of the Fishmen Island is under the sea, so it is extremely secret and will not be easily discovered. Also, the Fishmen Island is located in the middle of the first and second half of the Grand Line. If they find the specific location of Blackbeard's lair in the future, they can start from the bottom of the sea and arrive quickly, giving the Black Group a surprise. Whichever way you look at it, the Fishmen Island is the perfect hiding place. There is one person who is the happiest, that is, Nama, the captain of the 8th Division of the White Regiment. That Mura is a Murloc, and Jinbei is a good friend. He heard that Jinbei had already taken refuge with Luo Crossing. Now he has also taken refuge. They were originally called Further Whitebeard, but they didn't expect to be in the same camp again so soon. Things are amazing. The captains of the White Regiment did not have any comments. Luo Xing took out any door. Jinbei, who has returned to the Fishmen Island since the Saibadi Archipelago battle, just sent the location information of the Fishmen Island yesterday. Any door can directly reach the Fishmen Island. Even without Marko and others, Luo Xing also planned to go to the Fishmen Island as soon as possible. The complete inclusion of the Fishmen Island into the sphere of influence of the 100 Beasts is secondary, mainly to discuss the biology of cross-species reproduction with the mermaid princess Shirahoshi. Luo Xing thought about this question for a long time and couldn't think it through, so he had to practice it himself. 248. The balance of marine, Shichibukai, and 4 emperors is broken. The future of the Fishmen Island. The Fishmen Island sits thousands of miles under the sea. Right above is the red line. Above the red line is the Holy Land Marie Joys. One on top, one on bottom. The celestial dragons and the Murlocs living on it are naturally diametrically opposed to each other. Because of their natural strength, the Murlocs, celestial dragons, and the royal families of various countries, as well as those big men, like to catch Murlocs as slaves. Work hard for them. And the mermaid corresponding to the Murloc, because of its beautiful appearance, in particular, the beautiful fish tail with phosphorescent glitter has attracted the coveted hearts of countless people. The popularity of merfolk slaves is even more enthusiastic than that of Murlocs. Previously at Saibadi Archipelago, a slave auction house belonging to Doflamingo, a little mermaid, Amy, sold for a high price of 500 million Bailey, enough to match a powerful pirate captain in New World. The value of the mermaid is evident. The darkness caused by profit can't be stopped from filling the head of the Fishmen Island. Mermaids and Murlocs were plundered and slaughtered frantically, and were regarded as slaves by humans. This tragic fate has caused the Murlocs to hate human beings extremely for hundreds of years, until Princess Otoham, the mother of the mermaid princess Poseidon Shirahoshi, looked and appeared. She was the first to call on Murlocs and humans to coexist peacefully. But her end was tragic. How can the hatred and estrangement between Murlocs and humans be so easily removed? As long as this world is still ruled by celestial dragons, and countless pirates are still raging, the possibility of peaceful coexistence between Murlocs and humans simply does not exist. They will only be seen by humans as commodities that can be bought and sold for money, and only as rare slaves by celestial dragons. Neptune, the king of the Fishmen Island, recognized this reality after the death of Princess Otohime. He no longer has fanciful expectations of the world. He trusts only a few known humans like Roger and Whitebeard. Because the two most powerful pirates in the world once sheltered the Fishmen Island. The pirates who had to go through the Fishmen Island to go to the New World had to restrain their arrogance a little under the scruples. But Roger died young, and so did Whitebeard. Who else can shelter the Fishmen Island now? Neptune sighed deeply. Whitebeard had a conversation with him before he left for Marineford. Whitebeard had a premonition that his end was approaching, and asked Neptune to make early plans for the Fishmen Island. Neptune knew that after Whitebeard died, he would have to turn to a new four emperors to be the protector at the Fishmen Island. But who to turn to? Rationally, going to the Redhead Shanks is the best option. After all, Redhead was a trainee on Roger's ship and had met Neptune years ago. But unfortunately, after all, the Red Hair is the four emperors who have only ascended in recent years. Their qualifications are far from comparable. They have been Kaido and aunt of the four emperors for decades, not to mention Whitebeard. Among the four emperors, his turf is the smallest, and it is located in the depths of New World, very far from the Fishmen Island at the entrance of New World. The Fishmen Island in case of any danger, the Red Hair is beyond the reach of the whip. For the sake of the future of the Fishmen Island, it is impossible for Neptune to join the Redheads. After the Redheads are excluded, Neptune has only one choice left, and that is the beasts. Why not the Big Mom group like in the original book? The reason is, the animal group in the original book has been huddled in Wonokini. It is also quite far from the Fishmen Island. In terms of geographical location and influence radiation range, they are not as good as the Big Mom group. The aunt who gets sick at any time, although the IQ is not very good. But the nations under her jurisdiction are extremely prosperous. Moreover, the aunt is vindictive, narrow-minded, and especially likes to kill. If anyone dares to offend her, even in the ends of the earth, the aunt will immediately send a terrifying army to hunt it down to the end. It can be said, although the aunt is not the strongest among the four emperors, she is definitely the most terrifying and the least provocative. This is more or less a benefit to the territory under the aunt's regiment. Therefore, in the original Neptune, the one who chose to take refuge in is the auntie group. The Sun Pirates led by Jinbei also joined the Big Mom Pirates. But, this plane, due to Luo Xing's influence, the sight of 100 beasts has turned dozens of times. The range of influence radiation covers the entire New World, including the first half of the Grand Line and the Four Seas. Even the Sabadi archipelago adjacent to Marine Headquarters and Marie Joyce, all became the territory of the Beast Group. The current 100 Beasts Group is undoubtedly the Four Emperors Group with the strongest strength, the most extensive territory and the most influential among the four emperors. Neptune is no fool. Of course he won't think about the Big Mom group anymore. Going to the Beasts group is the best choice. However, Neptune has one more concern. That is, Roger and Whitebeard, who have a lot of relationship with him, have had a lot of conflicts with Kaido of the Beasts. After all, the Fishmen Island used to be sheltered by Roger and Whitebeard. Whether Kaido of the Beasts would mind this, or even disadvantage the Fishmen Island, is unpredictable. Neptune hesitated for a moment, unable to make up his mind. At this time, Jinbei returned to the Fishmen Island. As the leader of the Fishmen, Jinbei is equivalent to the captain of the guard team of the Fishmen Island, and his status is very respected. Neptune hurriedly summoned Jinbei to ask Jinbei's opinion. Haixia Jinbei looked at Neptune, and the princes and princesses around Neptune, and said, "My lord. The old man came back this time, and it is precisely to tell you about this and the future of the Fishmen Island." Neptune's expression turned solemn, and said, "Go ahead, Jinbei." Jinbei looked into the distance, looking very deep and sighing. He said slowly, "King Neptune, you should also understand that the balance of the world has been broken." "What is the original balance of the world?" "That is, Marine, Shichibukai, and the four emperors, all three. The world government, which is aloof, is reaping the benefits." Okay, but now, this balance has long been shattered by the rising beast group. Impel Down was destroyed, Sabadi land was occupied, North Blue was lost, the majesty of marine and world government dropped to an all-time low. The seven warlords of the sea, Doflamingo and Crocodile have long been killed. Gecko Moria and his Jinbei joined Luo Crossing. The Pirate Empress is also inextricably linked with Luo Crossing. Today's Shichibukai can be said to exist in name only. Hawkeye is alone. Bege too has a sick brain. The Tyrant Bear lost all emotion and became a slave. World government finally invited the new Shichibukai clown buggy. Well, it did dominate the first half of the Grand Line. Call it extraordinary. But well, the clown buggy only thinks about how to make treasures, while the second-in-command Mr. 3 is frightened all day long and always wants to run away. The gold content of this Shichibukai is worrying. 249. Jinbei's admiration. Luo Xing's energy is still above Kaido. Add the 4 emperors of the last 3 powers. Whitebeard died, and the remnants of the white group have now taken refuge in Luo Crossing. The power of the 100 beasts has expanded to an unprecedented level. The number of top-level powerhouses alone cannot be counted on one hand. Moreover, Kaido and Auntie have been friends for many years, and the 2 4 emperors groups have formed an alliance. When the strongest man Whitebeard has fallen, Red-haired Shanks is a lone tree. The Redheads are not the opponents of the Beasts and Big Mom alliance at all. Even Ben Beckman, who is most reliant on red hair and claims to have the most intelligent brain. They were all killed by the combined giants of Kaido and the Big Mom group without any resistance. Today's new world, it has become the world of the 100 beasts and the Big Mom. The red hair can only shrink in a corner. Don't you see? Blackbeard, who was identified as the new 4 emperors by the world government, has never dared to invade the new world and seize territory. In the 4 emperors pattern, there is no doubt that the 100 beasts are the strongest. The alliance between the 100 beasts and the Big Mom was even more overwhelming to the other 2 4 emperors, Red Hair and Blackbeard. If Red had teamed up with Blackbeard, it might make things a little bit better. But that is impossible. These 2 people have a great hatred of life and death, and it would be good not to fight each other. How can it be possible to abandon the former hatred and form an alliance? 323 overall. The original balance of the 3 major forces has long been destroyed. Marine lost face. Although the new marshal, Ainu, tried his best to re-establish Marine's majesty. But so far, nothing has been achieved. Even the newly appointed Admiral Fujitora slapped him. It would be nice for Ainu to take full control of Marine in a short period of time. Don't think of anything big. Add 7 warlords of the sea exist in name only. The strength gap between the 4 emperors groups is too large. There is no balance at all. This is something that anyone can see. In which direction will the world develop in the future? The world government and Marine, who have ruled the world for 800 years and have an unfathomable background. The increasingly powerful beasts pirates, allied with Big Mom, ambitious Blackbeard with the power of 2 super-powerful fruits, dormant redheads and hidden revolutionaries. The great forces, the great men, who is the final winner? No one can tell. About the hegemony of the world, the battle for the great Poseidon has already begun. No one can escape the great waves that are sweeping the world. If you want not to perish under this huge wave, weak people need to stand in line and join the strong camp. The Fishmen Island is now faced with this crucial choice. However, this choice, after Jinbei comes back, it won't be too tangled. The Fishmen Island can only join the camp of the 100 beasts. After analyzing the world situation, Neptune, Sharkstar, and Shirahoshi were all taken aback for a while. The purest Shirahoshi, with his eyes wide open, showed a very frightened expression. The outside world is so dangerous. The timid Shirahoshi shrank behind his father, King Neptune. It's really dangerous. Jinbei sighed. Even today's old man would not dare to say that he can survive such waves without incident. Changing to Jinbei, who was originally Shichibukai, will definitely not be able to maintain himself in world-class battles. After all, it was already a battle involving a large number of 4 Emperor's Admiral-level top powerhouses. But now Jinbei, who has eaten dragon-level monster cells, already has some such qualifications. But it's not enough. Under the general trend, even the top powerhouses cannot be independent. The killed Red Earl and Bullet are the best examples. To keep the Fishmen Island safe in this increasingly dangerous world, we can only join the Beast's pirates. Jinbei finally said decisively. Hearing this, Nighton sighed and said, Jinbei, as I thought, joining the 100 beasts is indeed the best choice. But, you know, Whitebeard and Roger, they, and Kaido of the beasts have a lot of contradictions. Roger and Whitebeard have both sheltered the Fishmen Island, which has to be taken care of. Jinbei didn't worry about it at all. He said frankly, don't worry about this kind of thing at all. The 5 emperors, Bife, adults are not narrow-minded men. Neptune was taken aback. Does Jinbei actually respect the legendary 5 Emperor Luo Xing so much? Although Jinbei received a great favor from the other party, but as a person, Jinbei is not the kind of character who can say things against his heart. Jinbei obviously admired the 5 Emperor Luo Xing sincerely. Whoever can convince Jinbei must be a man no less than Roger and Newgate. 35. Neptune thought to himself. Shirahoshi, who was hiding behind him, also showed a curious light on his delicate and pretty face. Shirahoshi admires boss Jinbei very much, and let the boss Jinbei admire. He must be a very remarkable person. Shirahoshi's heart inevitably aroused curiosity, but a little timid. After all, that is the superhero of the world above. After Neptune was surprised, he asked with a little doubt, even if Wu Huang Luo Xing doesn't mind this, Kaido of the beasts probably won't. Luo Xing is Kaido's son-in-law after all, and Kaido is the leader of the 100 beasts. If Kaido is dissatisfied with the Fishmen Island, even Luo Xing couldn't help it. Jinbei's expression still didn't look worried at all. Although I haven't been to Wano Kuni, I haven't seen the 4 emperors Kaido with my own eyes. But the scene when Lord Luo Xing beheaded Bullet was witnessed by this old man. That Haki who looks down on the world is like the old father Whitebeard. Even Kaido of the beasts, who is known as the strongest creature in the sea, land and air, can never suppress that man's light. 35. Jinbei means, even if Kaido is Luo Xing's father-in-law and the true leader of the beasts, but if Kaido wants to suppress Luo Xing and insist on disagreeing with Luo Xing, it is not so easy to succeed. Luo Xing's prestige in the 100 Beasts is now comparable to that of his old father-in-law, and can even be said to surpass Kaido. After all, the territory of the 100 Beasts, the terrifying strength of the 100 Beasts and the invincible army, basically all the credit of Luo Xing. The original 3 disasters and Liu Pao all received great favors from Luo Crossing. It is impossible to oppose Luo Xing, and there is a high probability that he will choose neutrality. Needless to say, his wife Yamato will definitely support Luo Crossing. Later join Zora, Enel, Shirahoshi, Germa, Moria and other strong men. They were all captured by Luo Xing, and they have little to do with Kaido. It sounds bad. Luo Xing can completely pull this group of people and leave a group of beasts to go it alone. In no time, you can build another mighty team that surpasses all 4 emperors. Although Luo Xing will definitely not do this, it is enough to prove Luo Xing's great energy, only above Kaido's, not below Kaido. Kaido will only confess Luo Xing as a baby. How can he force it? Luo Xing wanted to shelter the Fishmen Island, and Kaido would never say it even if he might be dissatisfied. Certainly, more likely, Kaido doesn't care about the Fishmen Island at all. The throne of One Piece is at hand, and the world's top war is about to start. The Fishmen Island has long been out of Kaido's eyes. Neptune's worries were completely unnecessary. 250. Big Sphere, Luo Xing, who is infinitely close to the gods. The Fishmen Island surrenders. After Jinbei's persuasion, Neptune released his previous worries and no longer had any worries. He made up his mind completely and decided to join the 100 Beasts. The Fishmen Island has since become the sphere of influence of the 100 Beasts. I have to say one more thing here. The Fishmen Island is a must-pass through the first and second half of the Grand Line. Pirates pass by here every day. Most of the pirates burn, kill, loot, and do nothing evil. The Fishmen Island suffers from it. But since the 100 Beasts occupied Whitebeard's territory, showing their ambition to compete with the world government for sea hegemony, New World is not something that ordinary pirates can enter. Even if you enter, if you don't join the Beasts, or the Big Mums, their fate will only be destroyed soon. Don't you see that Kid's group died like this? Kid with the highest bounty and the most evil supernova, rebellious, did not surrender like Carp and Hawkins. Its people, including his deputy, Kira, who was also a supernova, were all killed. There is no chance for the magnetic fruit to awaken. Speaking of supernovae, they who should have set off a huge wave in the original book and tried to pull the 4 emperors off their horses. In this plane, the situation can be said to be very tragic. Child of Destiny, the owner of the Sun God Nika fruit, the reincarnation of Joy Boy, the Straw Hat Luffy with the infinite protagonist halo, was almost killed by Luo Xing with a sword. The members of the Straw Hats are different. Zora didn't even join the Straw Hats. The future of the Straw Hats is unpredictable. Needless to say, the Kid group has collapsed. Drake sneaked into the Beasts as a spy as in the original book. He was tortured and killed by Shirahoshi without even seeing Luo Xing's face. Also, Trafalgar Law, Up, and Hawkins have surrendered to Luo Crossing. There is also a big stomach girl Jewelry Bonnie, who became Luo Xing's prisoner. The identity of this woman is unknown, and she is currently being held in Saipadi Archipelago by Luo Crossing. The 2 remaining supernova gangsters are Big and Aero Rouge. Both went to challenge Aunt 4 emperors. The strange monk Aero Rouge went straight up. However, he didn't even see his aunt's face. Although Aero Rouge defeated a General Star Snag, he was abused by one of Cracker's biscuit soldiers. He was seriously injured and fled in despair. He appears to have returned to his native Sky Island. He hasn't been seen since. As for Capone Big, this man is the most savvy and artful of supernovae. After all, he has been involved in the gang since he was a child and successfully became the godfather of the gang. There is no shortage of abilities in all aspects of temperament, viciousness, steering the rudder, and analyzing the situation. Bege is well aware of the strength gap between himself and Aunt 4 emperors. He didn't dare to confront the aunt directly, and planned to find out the weakness of the aunt first, and then carry out the assassination. Therefore, Big pretended to express her willingness to take refuge in the auntie group. After the aunt learned about this, not to mention how happy she was. After all, Aunt Tuanran and 100 Beasts have formed an alliance, but there is still competition between them. Especially when I was on the Rocks ship. Big Mom can be said to be far stronger than Kaido. Time has passed. The power of that old boy Kaido is far more than hers. Of course the aunt was in a bad mood. She also wanted to increase the power of the nations. Now there is a supernova who is not weak, who came to seek refuge. Aunt is very happy. She met Big in person, and betrothed one of his daughters to Big. Big is equivalent to becoming the aunt's son-in-law. The aunt looked at Big and smiled happily. Well, Big, now that I have your son-in-law, it would be even more perfect if I could grab Luo Xing as my son-in-law. Aunt still did not give up the idea of robbing Luo Xing as her son-in-law with Kaido. Really immortal. Charlotte Pudding, who was standing beside her aunt, immediately flushed with blush on her little face. Pudding knows, if the mother can really recruit Luo Xing as her husband, the object of the marriage must be her. Not only because she is beautiful, she is the most beautiful among the many daughters of aunt, it is also because she has the ability to memorize fruit, and she is a three-eyed clan with a third eye. In Pudding's mind, the image of Luo Xing when he appeared on Cake Island that day could not help but come to mind. Pretty face turned a little red. After Bege heard Luo Xing's name, his heart jumped. To be frank, he sneaked into the aunt's group, and the last thing he wanted to see was two people. One is Kategori. This person is calm and composed, and he has cultivated to the extent that he can foresee the short-term future. He can be called a monster. The other is Luo Crossing. Although Wonko is thousands of miles away from Wonokuni, but the arbitrary gate invented by the Five Emperor Luo Xing can be easily crossed. Against the background of the 100 Beasts and the Big Mom League, Luo Xing suddenly came to Wano to discuss some matters with the aunt. It was normal. Big prayed so much that this never happened. If he is afraid of Kategori and thinks the latter is a monster, then Big is almost afraid of Luo Xing. That is a man who is infinitely close to God. This is Big's evaluation of Luo Xing, even higher than the four emperors. Big successfully sneaked into the Big Mom group, not to mention the follow-up here. It is only said that when New World is dominated by the 100 Beasts, it turned out that many of the big pirates entrenched in the New World had to leave and turn to Blackbeard pirates who have not yet entered the first half of New World. Except for a few iron-headed babies, no one dares to enter the New World lightly. This has greatly improved the situation on the Fishmen Island. And those pirates who didn't enter the New World naturally went under the command of the new Shichibukai clown Bege. This led to the rapid expansion of Bege's power. If it weren't for the fact that there was no top-level combat power, Bege was even qualified to compete with Blackbeard for the position of the new four emperors. After all, in terms of seniority, both Bege and Blackbeard were interns at the same time. On the Roger and Whitebeard ships, they fought each other decades ago. In the original, Bege has indeed become a four emperors, alongside his former comrade Redhair, and the three interns who were hostile to each other that year, Bege, Redhead, Blackbeard, and finally became four emperors. The world is amazing. Even Luo Xing would say that the world is amazing. Even if he is a transmigrator, he never thought of it earlier. The remnants of the White League, such as Marko, would take the initiative to join him. This is undoubtedly a good thing. It would be better for the hated Marko to wait for the remnants of the White Court to deal with Blackbeard in the future. Luo Xing passes through any gate, when leading the captains of the White Regiment to the Fishmen Island. Neptune and Jinbei, who had received the news in advance, were already waiting there. Luo Xing just appeared. Immediately, the sound of respectful worship sounded. Luo Xing's status today, even if he is the king of a country, has to lower his noble head. However, Luo Xing didn't make a big deal. He had a genial look and a friendly tone. The heart that Neptune had been holding on had finally let go. The mysterious Five Emperor Luo Xing, as Jinbei said, has an extraordinary bearing and a wide tolerance. If you like this audiobook, subscribe the channel for more videos like this and join my Patreon if you want to support me. Leave some comment and let me know if you guys like this story, or you have a web novel you like and want to hear its audiobook. I will be happy to create them for you. Please like, share, and leave a comment on the video.